Somebody. Oh, hey guys, Mr. Fetty here, and today it's gonna be a new episode of Weirdo Vlogs, and this time we're talking about Shrek 5 and why we should be worried about it. So yeah, so a couple of days ago, DreamWorks have officially announced that Shrek 5 is coming out on July 1st, 2026 or 2026. Which, that was like 2 years away, and I'm gonna be like 25 years old when this movie's about to come out. Info, I was like born I think info my birthday's like a couple of months before this movie comes out. So yeah, same thing about my birthday is like January 30th, 2001. The year I was born, which is like just a couple of months before the first Shrek movie came out. So yeah. So I was like a bit kind of easy on the Shrek stuff, since, I was born in the 2000s and everybody's going crazy on the Shrek stuff. And after Shrek Forever, the franchise just went on a hiatus, with like occasional spin-off films. The two Puss in Boots movies are pretty good, especially The Last Wish. The Last Wish is so goddamn good, Maybe someday I might rewatch it and just kind of appreciate how damn good the film is. And there's like a one problem, do we really need a Shrek 5? Since, Shrek Forever felt like a good conclusion to the franchise, on how it ended. Yeah. And alongside that, there's no reason for a Shrek 5 to become famous because, the Shrek franchise just concluded with Forever After, And The Last Wish, as great as a movie, that little tease after the credits for the movie, it's actually pretty much a fun way to yeah, Shrek franchise is coming back, boys. And which leads us to this. So there's some things I'm a bit more worried about it, what would the stories gonna be about and which characters are coming back besides the main stars, like Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz. Also, Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek and Harvey Guillen's are coming back for this one. Didn't have any. No, they didn't say something about them since we had to wait until I end on a following year when we get more info alongside a first teaser of the movie around next summer. That'll be a big deal. This year we got a poster. Now next year we might get ourselves a first trailer for Shrek 5. And another issue is I think some people who work on Eliminations working on it, like Chris Melandri and let me hang on a sec. See something about. Let me see. Is there say? Yeah, it's Brad Abison. Yeah, the guy who directed Minions: The Rise of Gru, or Minions 2, and Chris Melandri, who's always been more a head of Elimination, who always produced almost every single Elimination movie. So yeah. Also, info we got people like Walt Doring coming back, but as a director for Shrek 5, since he's the head of story for I think Shrek Forever. Let me read it. Yeah, he's the head of story for the film alongside voicing the main villain, Rumpelstiltskin, the underrated goat in Shrek Forever. And another thing is that Gina Shea, the producer for I think the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie, alongside I think the Trolls movies. Info, that's another issue. So there's some which makes people worried because she actually worked on the Trolls trilogy. Since Info is kind of a little more average. Info Walter is kind of possibly the best one in the series. So yeah, let me hang on a second and see what other stuff she also worked on. Let's see. Oh yeah, Jimmy Neutron, South Park Big Long Uncut, but only as a line producer while being a co-producer for Jimmy Neutron. Yeah, she has a pretty good resume on just working on other stuff before she just moved to DreamWorks with Shrek the Halls, Shrek Forever, and the Trolls movies. Which Shrek stuff. Yeah, I can understand why she's coming back because it's kind of in her blood. But the Trolls films, yeah, people are just a bit worried about it because, the Trolls films are just average at best, so, yeah. And also the writer is Michael Collers, the Austin Powers guy, and I think the writers were the Boss Baby movies. Let me see. Let me check. Yeah, he's like a writer for the Boss Baby movies, and I think he's like a writer. Yeah, a writer for Hotel Transylvania, which is Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation or Monster Vacation in like international countries. You know, Hotel Transylvania 3 is kind of the weakest in the quadrilogy. You know, since the first one is still the best one. You know, and oh yeah, he also write Mr. Peabody and Sherman. You know, pretty underrated film. You know, like not many people actually talk about it. You know, which is kind of disappointing since possibly like 2014 is kind of like a pretty crazy year for DreamWorks Animation. Even through, I think like 1 out of 3 movies that came out that year is a success, while the other 2 didn't make that much money because there's like too much competition going on in 2014. Besides like there's no sign of a new Pixar movie coming out that time. So yeah, and also Michael Collins also wrote Ruby Gillman, Tina Kraken, a pretty good movie. I just don't get why people are just like somewhat overhyped this movie. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna make so much money, it's gonna beat The Little Mermaid, but unfortunately, it didn't make that much money because of Across the Spider-Verse, Elemental, and I think Indiana Jones 5 is kind of destroyed the box office. Like, check Ruby Gillman's box office numbers. $46 million. That's freaking sad. That's freaking sad. Like, seriously, it should have like been delayed until like I don't know, like in August, I guess, so it can like more room to breathe for the summer release around the end of the final month of the summer. So yeah, and let's see, what's the other thing? Yeah, you got the Austin Powers guy, and also the other thing is like I just a bit worried is like what references will Shrek 5 is gonna bring in like. This is gonna be obvious, like there's gonna be like referencing like modern stuff, which it's kind of a bit stale to think about it. Like, imagine the freaking referencing TikTok, Fortnite, and other modern stuff, and maybe just imagine freaking a Minecraft reference in this movie. Like, Minecraft, it's getting just kind of I'm getting too old for this freaking Minecraft stuff. Like, yeah, it's more like for like the kid stuff, but come on, Minecraft is kind of might end up being a little bit irrelevant when this movie comes out. So yeah, and also the villain, there's a possibility that I think it could be like Peter Pan, since he's like a public domain character, and there's like a pretty interesting way to just like write him as a villain, or even more crazier is Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse, who's also public domain. So DreamWorks can't use the Mickey Mouse from Disney, but they can use like the Steamboat Willie version of the character. So just imagine how freaking crazy it'll be, since this movie, it's gonna like make fun of Disney just like that's like in the first film. So yeah, and also the other thing I just hope will happen in the 5th film. If not, that'll be kind of disappointing. Is please age up the kids, like. The most confusing thing in the Single Me franchise is they didn't age up the girls, like, Agnes, Margot, and Edith. Like, they always stay the same age. Like, come on, like, animation, just age them up already. Maybe in Single Me 5, they should just age them up for real, alongside maybe age up Gru Jr. And I think the other one is, like, Hotel Transylvania series, like, didn't slightly age up, Dennis and Weenie to like teenagers. Like, I can understand because each film doesn't take place like 10 years. It's more like there's like just a year after each other. So yeah, by the timeline, and yeah, hopefully Shrek 5 will actually break that trend of actually age up the kid characters. So yeah, besides the the ogre babies, maybe age up the donkeys, as like just like a fully grown dragon donkey hybrids. That'd be freaking nuts. So yeah. And the other thing is what are they gonna reference the freaking Shrek memes in Shrek 5? Like, yeah, it's just gonna be felt like just more like a meta film more than just like a really good story and the fifth installment in the franchise with a really good story that's on par with like Shrek 1, 2, and Forever After. Shrek Third, I just kind of apologize to that film because it's not that terrible as everyone thought, but it's still the weakest out of the Shrek series, especially after that disaster. Now there's the Megamind TV series sequel. I just want to apologize to Shrek the Third. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, just how people just treated him like a terrible third film. So I can just give you some respect. So, yeah. And the other thing is like, what about the animation style is gonna be? Will it be like just gonna go back to the more, just classic animation from the first four movies? And I think the other thing is just maybe they go back to the original classic animation, or just go for the Spider-Verse style animation, like in The Last Wish. That'd be cool, but the other thing I'm just concerned is, what about the characters gonna look like in the new style? In all sense, this is not gonna be Shrek 5 is not gonna be made by DreamWorks in house. It's gonna be like outsourced to like another company, like Sony Pictures ImageWorks. Since those are the same guys that animated like Storks and Smallfoot, and I think other most Sony movies, mostly animated films. So I should be worried about it. Like, what will the new style for the Shrek characters for this movie will look like? So yeah. So anywho, don't have anything else to say about Shrek 5 and why we should be worried about it. Like, the franchise should have ended with Forever After, but we'll wait and see if the fifth film will be good or not, since it has so much potential. As it could be good, if all the silly modern references alongside just referencing Shrek memes could end up ruining it, because it might end up being a little bit tiresome, because we already seen it. I know so many family movies always references all those like recent trend stuff, like flossing and Sonic 1, it can be, that's I felt a bit always been felt like has been used to death in like most it was that freaking floss has always been milked to death and like by the internet, and even Rafa Branks the internet's kind of guilty for it. So I'll just give it a pass for like freaking Sonic doing the floss, because he's kind of like he's like a teenager, but most Sonic characters are teenagers, so yeah. And yeah, please don't disappoint me, DreamWorks. Please, just don't make Shrek 5 a disappointed and unnecessary sequel to Forever After, the film that should have been the last one in the Shrek series. So yeah, and hopefully the writer will kind of come up with like a really good story, and maybe has like a pretty good direction too. So yeah. So anywho, guys, hope you enjoyed this new episode of Weirdo Vlogs. So like and comment this video and subscribe for more content. So this is Mr. Freddy here, and I hope you have a very good night. So bye.